we were forced together by the barrel of gun, by the rogues, who took advantage of our own forebearers, starting with this criminal, colonial thug, Lord Lugard. There were those who used their needle and their thread to sew together this current Nigeria. It is a pure fabrication. It is a pure lie. It is what is destroying us. We don't trust ourselves. I understand that a lot of you and a lot of us were told to play our part in making Nigeria great. But for the past 40 years, all of us have seen that those who told us to be patriotic to one Nigeria, where people don't speak the same language, where people don't practice the same religion, where people don't practice the same tradition, their cultures are different. There is nothing in similarity among these over 250 ethnic nationalities that they sewn together inside this contraption called Nigeria. And because we don't speak our languages, we don't have the same culture, the same anything at all, nothing in common, ladies and gentlemen, we have always been suspecting ourselves. We have never, I'm talking about those who have shown it to us, had the chance of building a diverse society, a society where that you speak different language, that you speak, you practice different religion, you are from different part of the place, you all share something in common, and that is humanity. And in that humanity, your human right is yours. It is God-given right. You can determine how you want to live, how you want to be governed, what kind of country you want, and the rest of that. If that liberty is taken away from you, then you are not a freeborn. You are not a free person. You are just a psychologically enslaved and happy slave. And that trajectory is what the owners of Nigeria are still very much sustaining. A structure of hate, a structure of division, a structure of suspicion, a structure of looking for a structure of a distrust, whereby we have always been suspecting ourselves. When I say something, they say, he's a Yoruba man. I don't trust Yoruba men. Can you blame him? Of course not. We are doing our best to make you trust a Yoruba man, because in this contraption, if all of us want to get out of this contraption, this quagmire, I'm talking about this asylum that lunatics have taken over the affair. Ladies and gentlemen, we need ourselves. You cannot hate a Yoruba man. You cannot hate an Igbo man. At this point, you can't even hate a Northerner. You can't hate a Fulani. You can't hate an Hausa. You cannot say you don't want this or that. You know something? Because without us realizing that they have been playing us enough, and because of this already existential hatred to one another, because we don't share anything in common, the criminal colonialists, they used that. It worked for them. They handed over to the owners of Nigeria. They are using the same division. It's working for them. So if you don't like a Yoruba man, and a Yoruba man don't like an Igbo man, in that division, then you realize that the criminals who have kept us under this oppressive existence, they don't even identify as Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani or a Christian, Muslim. They identify as the same body, spirit the core. And that is why the Shege they unleash on the rest of us, they have the same proportional value. If you go to the north, the poverty there is existing there, extreme. If you go to the east, the poverty is there, existing, underdevelopment, and all of that is there. If you go to the west, you will see the poverty, you will see the underdevelopment, you will see the frustration on the face of an average person. If you go to the Niger Delta, where the golden goose that laid the golden egg that these criminals are sharing up there, the story is the same. Our oppressors are united. It doesn't matter where they come from. Why you and I are setting the boundary. I can never sit with you. Of course, you don't have to sit with me for your own satisfaction. But in this case, you would have to sit with me. You would have to trust me, because the only people who identify with their nationality in today's Nigeria are the real indigenous people that were completely forced into this narrative of one Nigeria that nobody has a clue. Nobody has a clear definition of it. Nobody understands who is a Nigerian and what makes you a Nigerian. What are the rights of a Nigerian, right? If those rights are violated, what are the punishment or consequences of those? No clearer definition. So eventually, when the indigenous people, which I belong to, which all of you belong to, the identity that couldn't be taken away from us, the one that if they sit you down and ask you questions about Nigeria, you'll find yourself talking more about your own nationality. I'm a Yoruba man. I will speak about Nigeria from the position of a Yoruba man. That is an Igbo man. That is a Tifi woman. There you have an Ishekiri woman too. Now take over there. That's another, a Ijo man there. Like that, like I said, right? You see everybody there, and they will tell you about this Nigeria from the lenses of their own nationality. Others are going to fake it, tell you things that are not real. Nigeria is this. Nigeria is a great country. Nigerian people are very, very enterprising. Nigerian people love themselves. Nigerian people are cynical. All those things are fantasies. They don't exist. So when we begin to realize that our own enemies, who are benefiting from our own division and the frustration, they are united, then you realize that we also need to unite too. Or else, we'll continue down that road and keep checking. The other day, I told you, Nigerians are just angry now. A lot of people are angry. They can't tell you why, but they are angry. Because they are not allowed to express themselves. They are angry when they are given the chance. Remember what happened to Devulumai, this one.
We see your media castigating us as civil servants. It's unlawful. Whether you like it or not, civil servants are the most respected citizens in this country. Without civil service, this country cannot move forward. So you are saddled with responsibility of an administrator to fix Nigerian roads. You kept on going around and castigating us. So we are not like that, and we cannot take that. So you see, what we want is that we as civil servants, you need to respect us in the first place. It is a must that you respect us. It's a must. Now, secondly, you need to carry us along. You cannot do this work alone. And you cannot import workers from outside to do the work for us. It is not possible. So what we want is total respect. What we want to fix this nation. The Mr. President have agenda, a renew hope, and we are here to fix it with this agenda. We want to run with the Mr. President. We want to make sure that this country is a beautiful country for all of us. We want to make sure that Nigeria is a country that we all of us can be proud of it. So we want you to swing into action, sir. We have told you right from the beginning, from day you came, that we are going to support you. No, sir. How do we support you in this manner? Like I said earlier, you can't play the cat before the horse. You can't get a good result. If you had told us earlier, we love you, and told us your grievances, then we'll be able to pass it across to our members. And once we pass it, anybody that now default, like I said, they have laid down rules and regulations in the same service. You keep querying. It's one of them. You don't just come and say, lock the gate. So we are told with due respect, this is not state. This is not. We see your media.
Voila, everywhere. 63 years of independence. Judiciary has gone to the dogs. Judiciary is now about the highest bidder. For the first time in my life, something I didn't sort of see coming. And that is the judiciary in Nigeria during your presidential petition tribunal, I knew they'd always do their abracadabra. They always do their technicalities and all of that. But I never, for once in my life, expected the judges of election tribunal to begin to defend Tifnumbu. To begin to attack the opposition in their judgment. You remember that woman, one of those justices? She took it so personal that when I was listening to what she was saying, I was like, oh my God. Judiciary were defending Tifnumbu. Judges, they were supposed to look at evidence. They thrown all the evidence out because of the time they filed them. They said, no, the time you filed the evidence is wrong. Because of that, we cannot look at your evidence. So you did not give us evidence. Judges castigating petitioner, defending Kolu, the drug baron. Mommy, you expect here. Make I no lie, you. I didn't expect that. They were saying that, do you want us to go and look for evidence for uni? Okay. So because he has a Ghanaian passport. So because Tifnumbu is a Ghanaian. So wait till you want me we can't do then. We should remove him because he's a Ghanaian. Is that the reason? And the constitution says you cannot be citizens of two countries to be president of Nigeria. Judiciary said, what is a big deal about that? So because he said the passport has expired. So is that the evidence of him being a Guinean? So what else? We don't want that. But he also forfeited money. Criminal forfeiture for drug trafficking in America. This is the evidence. Look at you. So if Tifnumbu is your brother, will you be happy to see him being embarrassed like this? Now, Judge, they ask who? Judge you for election petition. No? So they are presenting evidence. Judge said, Chief Tifnumbu is your brother. Will you be happy that some people are ridiculing him like this, embarrassing him like this? Judge. Another one said, they said this a long time ago. It's over 10 years. Are you not a Christian? Did our Lord Jesus Christ not said we should forgive and forget? Judge, you. They talk about evidence and said, don't you have any spirit of forgiveness? Mugbe. Judiciary, where they declared somebody winner, and they said, present the evidence of how you won. The number you announced to Nigerians. Show the working. They can't bring over 51,000 polling units that the results either completely blank or completely mutilated, altered, unreadable. 51,000 polling units. Evidence. Person will present them. INEC said court must not accept the evidence. They say give them evidence to prosecute their case. INEC gave them the evidence, the result. They took the result to the judges. My lord, look at all these documents. Look at all this evidence. Look at this and that. Listen, number one, INEC said we should not take that evidence from you. And moreover, the time you brought this evidence, we think say it's the wrong time. Okay? We cannot look at it. Therefore, no evidence. My lord, INEC no stamp. See, now INEC stamp. See the dates, but my lord, now them. Sorry. No evidence. No evidence, Ike. No evidence. They started reading the judgment. And they started firing Obi, firing Atiku, firing Obi, firing Obedient, firing everybody, including Nigerians. They said, una they threaten judges. Where is that done? How dare you say all eyes on judges? What the hell do you mean? In this country, we call you Pablo ECOWAS is in charge. Now, they draw the line. They say make the obedient, and Nigerians say can't draw the line. May they see who go run. They were threatening Nigerians. See, Baba, me oririo. I never see anything like I didn't see that coming. Olongbo. Tanko technicality, Babalawo Ife, the plane driver, in 2019. His own technicality or what have you is for the mechanic to come and drive a plane. Tanko technicality, Baba, there is more that is lower than Tanko technicality. Judiciary, Juditon sharing. So where is the hope? You are going to wait, you see, this time next year, if Nigeria never start the process of that national conversation to say, we still won't be here or we no won't be here, maybe start time, by this time next year, you are still going to be crying for no electricity. You are still going to be crying from poor infrastructure. You are still going to be screaming under poverty, extreme one. By this time next year, when Nigeria turns 64, if you have not japa and you are not dead, you will be in Nigeria watching Mayegun like this. And then you will remember today that he said it last year. He said next year we will be crying again, lamenting. Baba, next year don't Jesus. Maybe we're better in time, break up Nigeria to save lives. When we say that, it sounds so brutal. It sounds so sort of absolute. No. Listen, we are not stupid like your leaders. Okay? Those of us who are asking that break up Nigeria to save lives. I am going to explain that to you because we are not as stupid. Or should I say, we are not as, or we don't have the criminal mindset like that of your criminal leaders who have made names and fortune from criminality and ruling and ruining you. To break up Nigeria, is a process that must be initiated for those who claim to love Nigeria. Nigerians are going to be continued to be killed, kidnapped. Nigeria is 63 years old today. Thousands of Nigerians are currently languishing in the hands of kidnappers, terrorists, who are actually either mutilating them, taking their organs, or collecting ransoms from their family members, or selling them off outrightly as slaves in their own country. 2023, the giant of Africa, Nigeria, 63 years old, almost one of the oldest independent countries in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not need any soothsayer to tell you that they have to initiate that conversation. Call it any name. National Sovereign Conference, restructuring conference, whatever other things you want to call it. You see, in that conversation, right? I have said this before. And this is the best one. And a lot of people watching me right now, they will be saying, Nigeria cannot break that way. I know. Don't share farabale. So that they will not say, now you they call for war. You see, when you talk about violence and the people that actually promote violence, that uses violence in the case of dialogue, it has always been the government. They have always been those that are easily triggered. When they see a crowd that they did not call out, they are triggered. They begin to wear warlike gears, give guns to their policemen and others to start shooting people instead of having a chat. They don't. They are the ones who always uses violence. So don't let us put the wrong foot forward. Okay? So that it doesn't sound like we are just charlatans, loose talker, imaginary, enthusiast or so. Just so they know that we know that the breakup of Nigeria is in two phases. The first breakup that must happen right now, like as far as yesterday, is the breakup of a decentralization or decentralized Nigeria. When I say centralized, do you want me to explain what that means to you, right? Nigeria is one big giant fraud that is put together to appear like a country, that is put together to appear like it has a functional structure or system that sustains it. But what is this structural system or whatever they put together? It is to rob Peter to pay Paul. You following? They developed a concept to take all of the revenue resources, every major revenue earners, and then the natural resources, land here, middle, everywhere, belong to the central government of Nigeria. So therefore, whatever they make from that goes straight to them. And on behalf of the rest of Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria will then share the money accordingly. Now, let's now go to sharing. The region that actually produces over 80% of the money that Nigeria and resources that Nigeria currently lives on is the southern part of Nigeria. And the biggest part of Nigeria by land is the northern part of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria over time, since they were those who had the pencil and the eraser and the paper, Nigerians became nothing but a pencil and paper in the hand of the northern criminals and their southern counterparts. So they decided to start using that biro and pencil and paper to now divide that Nigeria and our resources sharing formula. The reason why Nigeria is existing today is because the southern Nigeria produces over 80% of the resources. The northern part of Nigeria is presented to have produced over 60% of the population. Therefore, the sharing formula will go straight to the biggest population, not the biggest revenue earners or contributors. This is what you call robbing Peter to pay Paul. This is the real reason you have one Nigeria. If you take that out, there will be no more Nigeria. More than the northern Nigeria and the middle belt part of Nigeria. Northern Nigeria has about 9-10 states. The middle belt part of Nigeria has about 6. Yeah, about 13 states. 12. The middle belt has about 6. That makes it about, 13 and 6, making it about 19 as the demarcated. Look at this thing here. Like the colonial thug, Frederick Lugard did, right? You see the ones on the top and the ones on the south. Usually, the people from the south, they are more than the people of the north. Yeah? But when this owner of Nigeria, who uses Nigeria as a pencil in their hands, they decided to redraw the map of Nigeria. So they now put the people of the Midwest, the middle part of Nigeria, the middle beltans, they now carve them and they push them to the north so that it can increase their own sharing opportunity. That became the sharing formula of Nigeria. More local governments are in northern Nigeria than the southern Nigeria. More states are in northern Nigeria than the southern Nigeria. And then more resources are in southern Nigeria than the northern Nigeria. When it comes to the sharing formula, the northern Nigeria will take the chunk. It took the people of Niger Delta, it took them at least 9 to 10 solid years of pipeline bombing, kidnapping of oil workers in Niger Delta before the owners of Nigeria finally agreed to give them 13% derivation from their own crude oil. So it took them a fight before they could give it to them. And when they paid them their 13% derivation money, it didn't go to the people that actually deserved it. It went straight to the hands of the owners of Nigeria, Niger Delta branch, the criminals that are comfortable with the way the whole thing is, as long as they're getting their own share. That is Nigeria in a nutshell. The day there is no more money to share. And you know, other thing is this: when the money for crude oil probably is not forthcoming anymore, Nigeria has the population, has all those resources, and they have allies out there, which means those allies out there, knowing what Nigeria has, not to benefit Nigerians, okay, but to benefit them. So they were willing to increase the credit of Nigeria. Therefore, the owners of Nigeria, the ruiners from northern Nigeria, those who actually really, really destroyed Nigeria, the northern criminals, they decided to turn Nigeria to a collateral, and they started borrowing in the name of Nigeria. And the money went to where? To their own private pocket. Who are those who are going to pay the debt? The rest of Nigeria. How? Austerity. Austerity through devaluation of your money, devaluation of your economy, increase in poverty, increase in unemployment, a destruction of businesses. But guess what? Nigeria is just the collateral, is the asset. They can use her just for anything, as long as it continues to exist. If the oil stop flowing, they will use the rest of you to borrow money. Today, 63 years of Nigeria existence, every Nigerian living right now, I'm not talking about those who are dead though, living, is currently owing God knows who, those who borrowed Nigeria money, all right? We are currently owing over 400,000 naira because of these kleptomaniac criminals. That needs to stop. A conversation needs to start. And that conversation will start from the first breakup of Nigeria. Break up Decentral. Nobody needs to go to Abuja before we can decide our fate in our own different region, right? That is the first start. And to do that, you have to do away with that fraudulent 1999 constitution. It is the willing power, the tool, the military tool that this, these criminal civilians are using. Now they can plan civilian coup every now and then. Their court is going to certify it. And you can then go to heaven and report to God. All of these are going to continue to make it inevitable for the breakup of Nigeria. Now, if this conversation can start in all sincerity, with all honesty, which I believe they won't start it, even if they make a move to say, oh, okay, we are going to call for national dialogue, blah, 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 they will never be sincere about it. So that is why I said you should calm down. Let's tell them that we know peaceful way of breaking up a country that is shocking on its own, on its own stupidity caused by the accursed leaders that you have in Nigeria. Before Nigeria shook and die, because when that happens, right, we are talking about a civil war. And listen to me, in case if you don't know, anywhere where corruption is legal, you know what will happen? Underdevelopment will be the order of the day. Sure you get? And where the corruption continue to thrive, poverty will increase. And where poverty exists, crime exists. Okay? And in today's Nigeria, and with what these criminals have done, trust me, Nigeria tick every box in this regard. So, one day go be one day go be one day go be one day, where monkey go market and he no go return. One day go be one day. And that will be the time that nobody will have any control over anybody. This will be the spontaneous reaction to a situation that would then have been completely out of hand. Nigeria is headed there. Your prayer cannot prevent it. If not for the God's prayer, Nigeria would have exploded. No, it's not God's prayer. God's prayer, Oshiwo. Nigerians have been, you know what I mean? Nigerians have been traumatized. Nigerians are scared. And it is not just now. The entire system has made them realize that their lives are worthless until the day they realize themselves that The only thing Nigeria has left them with, the only thing they have now is just the breath that they are breathing. Everything else is gone. There's absolutely nothing to glorify you as a Nigerian. That day, you will know that it is not God that is keeping Nigeria from exploding. Can you blaspheme against God? Only sky daddy. Leave God out of it. We know why it is what it is. Where the criminal pastors see, Olori Buruku Afas and Imam and Alaji and Alajas, who are using the same religion to hoodwink you, to further put you in that state of fear, state of uncertainty, where you are scared all your life. The day you are no longer scared of them, is the day you realize I no be God. If in fact, do you know what God wants you to do? You know, I be Gio too. I am Baba Gio of this temple of truth. And you know, if you say what I tell you is not the truth, that means you are calling my caller, the person that called me. Okay, be like say myself, I don't miss Yan. Nobody called me. I mean call myself. Sure you get. So there's no point in blaspheming against whatever. But I'm just saying, with what I believe and the truth and the faith and the congregation that I have here, I have the personality of your GO, the general overseer. Do not say anything about what I say, like dispute it that way, because what God wants you to do is to go and grab all of these known criminals. Sure you get, grab them, drag them outside. Mayogun DSS in court, don't worry. He that lives in you is more powerful than the one that lives in them. I am saying that to you. That's exactly what God wants you to do. God does not want you to blame him or tell him that he's the one that is keeping the contraption together. It is not God. I have told you, when we discuss this kind of thing, no, they bring down your sky daddy to it, because to me, now your sky daddy they bring, and don't pretend and tell me that my ego don't talk like that about God. I have any. Shall have power to sky daddy any. To matter Nigeria. What is the difference? Between you and those who are saying you should pray for Nigeria? Leave that God out of it, because the God where they talk to me, waiting one may you do be say anywhere where you see Tifnumbu, you must hold on. Somebody said, if you have a chance of sitting one-on-one with a Tifnumbu right now, what are you going to say to him? I said, well, I was telling myself, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I read that somewhere, and I was like, what am I going to do if I see Tifnumbu right now? Well, I don't want to tell you, because what I'm going to do is not good. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be like, okay, I'll tell you. Fine, I'll tell you. If I see Tifnumbu right now, I'm not going to ask him about Nigeria. What's he concerned? I'm just going to say, Kolu, are you okay? And if he asks me, like, what do you mean? What do you mean if I'm okay? They pretend say you get a hair problem with your dementia. Are you okay here internally? And if he says yes, now I'm very okay, are you sure? I will just move to Ram, pull his shirt, drag him up, and say anybody we won't say in one face Nigeria problem is supposed to get stamina. So if I check him up like that, 2-3 times, if he stand, I'll come out and tell all of you, I say, Omokolu are okay, how strong did you believe law? Kokolokpolo ni o. Okpolo ti ku everything, but when it is son. You are being led by an half-dead, lifeless addict. And what are you telling your children? You are telling them that is what? Mandela. Abikile Nsofa Omoyi. So you're going to tell your children that this is Mandela. Abikile Maso. Abi King Jong-un. Anyway, like I said, I didn't want to tell you what I was going to do because somebody said, well, they asked somebody and he said, if I see Tifnumbu, I go beat her. No, you cannot beat Agbalagba. And you ask me, say what I go do one-on-one. Nobody did, everybody know did there be. But why? He said, I go beat her with the frustration where they go on in my life, with the frustration of this economy, with what they have actually, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, fine. That's why you will never probably be one-on-one with him. That's why I will never be one-on-one with him. Can you move my back on Luso? Must sit down with somebody like this and say, very intelligent, sir. Number one, this one.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn, and the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's...
That is the president of Nigeria at 63. 8 years of your lives were stolen by this APC. Egbekegbe. Another 8 years. You are on the journey of another 8 years. And you think it's going to be that easy? Because the second breaking up of Nigeria, if you care, if anybody cares, and that second one should actually be the only one. And that is, you need to call this national convo. Let the people come and say if they still want to be part of this Nigeria or not. Shomokwe, another second peaceful option, yeah. That's another second peaceful option. Oh yeah, the Igbos. Igbo kwenu, they say, kwenu, kwezenu, yeah. Oh yeah, come and answer this question. You want Nigeria or you don't want Nigeria? To fear kwa? Chineke kpoge oku Nigeria. God forbid. Where you want me to sign? We want to leave. You, the Middle Beltans, do you want to go with Northern Nigeria? Arewa? Are you mad, Dini? Give us the paper, make we sign. We will do without them. The Yorubas, as long as a lot of you will be so shocked that Tifnubu doesn't represent the Yorubas. And I kind of feel, insulted sometimes. When some of you who are non-Yorubas, I understand that you might have from your own experiences and all of that with this, with this bigots in Yoruba land, but it breaks heart when some of you looking at Tifnumbu and his Ronu thugs in Lagos, and you associate them with Yorubas, when you can see many, many outspoken Yorubas who have publicly rejected this Kolu drug baron. You have also seen Yorubas who didn't just reject him. They rejected him when they had the chance of voting for him. then you will turn around and when they're talking about Yorubas, you'll be like, but the Yorubas, I don't trust Yorubas. I don't need the trust here. I have told you, because I don't trust Arawano. I can deceive Arawani. Now deceive, we deceive ourselves. And that's why when you come onto my Egun's Diary Political, you don't have to deceive yourself anymore. You know who you are, and you know who others are. And around that point, you also agree that we know they trust ourselves. Now, mouth we they take even though these days now people are beginning to say, okay, trust is a two-way, is a two-edged sword. Sure, you get. It simply means it has to be sharpened from both ends. It has to be equal. If you want me to trust you, then you have to trust me. And what do we mean by trust? It's not by saying it. It is what you do. Sure, you get now. It is no longer about do what I say. It is about please do what I do, not do as I say. You get the idea? When they call the Yorubas, you'll be shocked how many Yorubas, that the majority of Yorubas, they won't blink before they will go for their own autonomous region. You see all those stories. Some people, the Igbos, don't trust themselves. The people of Ebonyi, they don't trust Anambra. The Anambra people, they think say they are the best Igbo than the Abia people. They think say they are better than Enugu. All those talk, they have always been the normal political talks that they have planted. It is part of our division. It is part of the reasons why the conversation like this are almost never concluded. Because politically, for decades, they've planted those divisions, those rhetorics, and all of those conversational points like that. They've planted them in Yoruba land. They will tell you, the Yoruba minority, what do you mean by Yoruba minority? The Igbo minority, what do you mean by that? A Yoruba man is talking about the Igbos, and he's talking about the Igbos division. An Igbo man is talking about what do you call it? Say, an Igbo man is talking about the divided Yorubas, the minority. Kilo coin, what concern you? How do you know? I mean, who are you? To explain to us if we have minority, or who is minority, or who is majority. Same thing in the other part of Nigeria. I'm just saying that all these rhetorics, they've always been there. But if a conversation doesn't start, all those issues will never be addressed. And that is why it is called a referendum. So, referendum. You know what is called referendum? Referendum is when everyone would have a say. It is going to be a season of referendum. You see, those who have told you Niger Delta is different from the Igbos. Of course, we know the ethnic nationalities from every part of Nigeria. But there is something they call the similarity, proximity, sharing of this tradition, food, language, and other things. And then the closeness to one another. You can form your own country. We are going to have our own Niger Delta Republic. Calm down. We are not part of Biafra. Calm down. You see, when the issue of the autonomy for the Eastern Nigeria is about to be discussed, or the independence or the breakaway of the eastern part of Nigeria, including Niger Delta, the day the people realizes that they are better together and a referendum can decide which arrangement you are going into with Nigeria, or with your own neighbor that is getting their autonomy, And you know one thing about this whole thing, when the conversation starts, if they entertain it at all, it will shock you with the level of acceptance of that particular breakup of Nigeria. Shebi, say that one no cause any war now. Just conversation. Anybody we want join, they can join. Anybody we want join the Biafrans. If the Igbo says we don't want to use the name Biafra, we want to choose another one, it will be a referendum, a consensus, whatever it's called. I'm just saying, like, that is why you call it referendum. Everyone, every component part of a space that is going into that agreement, that arrangement, they must have a written pact, an agreement. that is always going to be open for negotiation, not the one that say Nigeria is not negotiable. Now who join us? We can sign and say we must not negotiate. So we should continue dying, killing ourselves, enabling corrupt people, legalizing criminals and criminalities. And then our children are being born into that same shito. And you said we shouldn't have that chart. This is me being kind of like having an intelligent conversation of how this can go. The moment it is there, you will see the caliber of people that will get involved. That means you want to start something. Somebody said they should restart Nigeria. Well, if you want to restart Nigeria, it should start from everybody doing their own thing first. Break it up from that center. Nobody say one Salau or Lamidi or Uche, because it's the president of Nigeria, is now given that power, right, over all of us, when we didn't give him that power or had that power. I'm just saying, there was never a place we had that conversation. Okay? But anything from this, Baba, let the corruption continue. Okay? Let the impunity continue. Let the state-sponsored terrorism continue. Let all the vices continue. You see where we are going? We are going to the point of no return. And that is the one I wish will never happen. But I am not in position to prevent it. Okay? The violence one. When Nigeria become very poor and become more lawless, you have read about Somalia, Abi? You have no idea what that means, Abi? Well, you've also heard about Libya with no government and all of that. By the time Nigeria arrive at that stage, Bokwari will be long dead. Obasanjo will be long dead. Yakubu Gowon will be long dead. Tifnumbu will be dead. A lot of them will be long dead. It go can't remain all of us here. We go can't ask ourselves, what will they do here? Do you understand what I'm saying? Majority of all these rogues who have been angling and angling to keep Nigeria where it is, they will be long dead. Now me and you, Musa and Mayegun, Uche, and then Tom York, we'll be asking ourselves, what will they do for here? They say we are Nigerians. Are you the craze? Which Nigeria? How did we arrive at here? They say, oh, hey, stop shooting. Don't shoot again. Let me explain. Oh, yeah, explain. Musa would they say, it is our forefather, Ahmadu Bello, Usman Danfodio, that said, I couldn't dafu what did Usman Danfodio. You know what I mean? They call it civil war. When we kill and kill and kill those who are left, they call say, Chico Shady, this one will be with, oh, yeah, make all of us come who can talk. We'll then talk. You don't need to believe me. With the failure of these guys, 63 years, they are enough for me to convince you. The failure of 63 years, they are so abundant and enough for me to keep telling you until we break up this shit hole. We are done for. Until you break up Nigeria, you will never save any life. Not even your own life, not even mine. And remember this, the criminals who have put us in all of this, who want us to appear like we are unpatriotic, they are the most unpatriotic humans to ever live. Okay? They have the opportunity of making a country work, uniting the people, improving the economy, cutting down the insecurity, cutting down the poverty, cutting down unemployment, improving the living standard of the people, whereby lesser and lesser and lesser, way the life of hate, the life of crime, and everything that is associated with Nigerians, right? They would disappear. But they won't do that. So therefore, those of us who are survivors of today, well, let me say, those who were survivors of yesterday, okay, they will be today's victims. And if they survive today, you are just a waiting victim of tomorrow. And that's what our life will be like every now and then as this contraption continue to exist. Until then, happy, happy slave day. Because nothing is independent in Nigeria. Tonight, we are going to take on the ruling from the Chicago court, where Iyalaje ìyálàjẹ́ amòfin worldwide, the agbófinró of the universe, the legal, what do you call it? The legal luminary, the judge of all judges, the woman behind behind God's heart, Maldonado. I'll tell you more later tonight. So thank you very much. And don't forget, you can still like this broadcast before you go. I'll meet you later. Good morning.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Mayegun Diary, Diary Politico.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary, Nayibi #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò gbẹ́bẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.